Hi everybody, this video is about glutathione. Someone posted on one of my other videos a question about essentially asking, does glutathione need other things to make it work well? And that's a really great question. I think oftentimes we don't necessarily think about whether a given agent, a supplement, an herb, a vitamin, a mineral, or whatnot, a nutraceutical needs other things in order to work well. But indeed, oftentimes multiple things are needed to achieve an end, and really probably, well, nothing works alone in the body. Glutathione is definitely no exception. One of my mentors, Dr. Paul Anderson, he's a naturopathic doctor from Washington State. He has a strong social media presence. If you haven't heard of him, please consider searching him out. He posts lots of great content on Facebook and on Instagram. I'm not sure if he's on other platforms or not, but I see his videos coming up all the time and on those platforms for me in my feeds. But he's someone that I've heard speak about this many times. In a clinical practice, I couldn't agree more. He basically, if I be so bold as to paraphrase one of my mentors, he talks about how glutathione needs other cofactors, other things in the mix in order for it to work properly. And glutathione by itself isn't going to work nearly as much magic without those things aboard. Now, of course, or being on board as well. Now, of course, some folks might already have those other cofactors on board. So for example, vitamin B2, vitamin B3 are really important in order for glutathione to do its work. We need the precursor molecules to actually make glutathione in the first place. Glutathione is a tripeptide, so without adequate levels of cysteine and glycine and glutamic acid, then you can't make glutathione in the first place. And then it's also important to make sure that we have a good set of other sort of supportive antioxidants in place for glutathione to be able to do its work. So antioxidants like vitamin C and vitamin E are very important for glutathione to really work as well as possible. So the short answer is yes, we need other things for glutathione to work well, but I guess more broader answer would be, well, what are we wanting glutathione to do? So if we want glutathione to help with detoxification function, well, sure, super important as a phase 2 detoxification compound, but we need to make sure there's adequate phase 1 detoxification support as well. We need to make sure that there's other phase 2 detox supports in place. We need to make sure that the phase 2.5 and the phase 3 parts of detox are being supported too. So again, glutathione on its own isn't able to do all of those jobs. Now, in many cases, in my experience, patients will oftentimes already have those other factors in place, and when we add in glutathione, yeah, it helps with detox pathways. But in patients who are suffering from complex chronic illness, they're going to need quite a bit more support than the average bear, in my experience. And so we need to typically add in other things like certain B vitamins and minerals and other cofactors that are required for those other parts of the detox pathways. A video that this question was commented on was entitled something like "Glutathione, is it magic for the brain?" And so another reason that we would think about using glutathione in clinical practice would be to help with overall neurological health. And glutathione as a single variable is sometimes helpful in those cases, but in my experience, in a number of those cases, we need to make sure we have other things in place too. What are the things that may be leading to that glutathione depletion in the first place? Are there heavy metals that we need to be dealing with? Are there mold mycotoxins that we need to be dealing with? Are there chronic infections like neuroborreliosis or mycoplasmosis or bartonellosis or chronic viral infections? So in that case, it's not so much that we need to be treating those things for the glutathione to actually be able to do its job, but its job is going to be arguably too gigantic to be able to have a meaningful impact on how a patient's feeling if we're not dealing with some of those root cause factors that are already driving the need for that glutathione in the first place. So putting it another way, if I have a patient with full-blown neuroborreliosis and I just give them glutathione, I'm not really going to expect them to see much clinical improvement. Whereas if I'm treating them with the right antimicrobials to treat that neuroborreliosis, and then I phase in glutathione on top of that, then it will likely be it will have a greater chance of being effective. So I hope that this answered your question. It's a great question, a fascinating topic to talk about, I think. So if you have any further questions on this topic, let me know. If anybody has any questions about this topic or anything else, just post in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer as soon as I can.